everyone, it's Andrea, the Girl Plus Paper. Today is day number 18 of the Creative Design Team's 31 Days of Christmas cards. I have something that I really love to share with you today. It combines my passion for Cricut and shaker windows, and of course with shaker windows you have lots of bling. So everything that I love all in one Christmas card. I hope that you find some inspiration. So let's go ahead and get started with this project. Here is my sample card that I've created already, and we're going to be working on a version of this card that will then in turn create a pair of cards. It combines, like I said, some shaker elements, Cricut cuts, thin cuts, and lots of bling. So this card is really something that I would love to share with my friends and family this holiday season, and I hope that you'll be inspired too. Working with some new products from close to my heart, which is always fun to explore. And we'll also be working with that gold bow that is cut out of our small bow thin cuts, and that has become a real quick favorite of mine, as you might have noticed if you watched my videos recently. So the thin cut comes with two parts and has stitching, and so you kind of lose some of that stitching detail in the glitter of the the glitter paper, but creates a beautiful bow nonetheless, and is a statement on any project that you might make. So I've cut that out, and I'm just taking a Cricut pen that was here on my station, and I like to train that paper. I think by going ahead and wrapping that paper around something that's rounded, it helps the bow to take on a really rounded shape. It stays in place much better, and then it's easier to glue because of that. So I just simply curl the paper around whatever rounded object I happen to grab off my workstation. So don't think you need a Cricut pen. You could do this with anything that's rounded. And I find that liquid glass is one of my favorite for holding paper, especially difficult paper. So I'm going to go ahead and just lay down some liquid, thereby adhering all the layers together. And I have just a small clothespin here on my workstation that I then use to adhere it all together and hold it in place while it dries. Okay, so we're on to the next step, and here is that bow all held together. I have our Cascading Dots embossing folder, and I have some mink cardstock all loaded up and ready to get embossed. And that is the background of my shaker window, or the base of my card. Using embossing folders is just a really great way to add an understated dimension or layer to our paper crafting projects. They are just fun because they, they create interest without distracting, in my opinion. So if you haven't tried an embossing folder, this is a great one to get because it's just a real subtle background. I'm grabbing my set of rectangular stitched frames, and they are concentric. So I used the biggest one to create that first card here, and I'm going to now use the middle one to create my second card. You can see that when you use one of these, you're left with the outer frame as well as that inner solid piece that I just showed you. So I've done the middle one here as well, and you'll see I have the outside frame and then the inner piece. So save those inner pieces. They're nicely stitched, and you can probably use them on another project. This is a brand new product from close to my heart. It is a set of pieces to create a shaker window out of those concentric stitched rectangular frames. And what I like about it is that you get 2 sheets of foam, and there are 3 foam outsides to your shaker, basically. So I've used the first one, the biggest frame, and you'll see there's also 6 pieces. So between the 2 sheets, there's enough to make 6 cards, and that's why there's 6 acetate pieces in that set as well. Now, I always find it's helpful to run something here. I have a sharp pair of tweezers. I'm running that around the edges of that outside frame because I just want to break it apart from all the other pieces on that foam sheet, right? So this is an easy way to sort of give it a clean edge, and I'm able to pick it up more freely without pulling off miscellaneous extra foam dots that are on that Carrierre sheet there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a pair of tweezers and just try to lift that. And you'll see it comes off much more easier. If I hadn't gone ahead and broke that seal, so to speak, we'd be picking up lots of extra foam pieces. And I like that Close to My Heart does cut out the extra background so that you can use it on other projects. So that's an added bonus. So we're going to put that aside. You can see those extra pieces there. I'm going to bring in my card base. And I'm just going to center it more towards the top and center from left to right, but put it up towards the top because I want to have room for that gold glitter bow down on the bottom of my project. And my fingers got stuck there a bit, but you'll see it's really still easy to get into place once I unstick it from my fingers. And yeah, so I just carefully held onto it and placed it. Not difficult at all in the scheme of things. And now I have a nice, sort of like a bank around the edges that I can put my sequins into. So I've grabbed some of my loose gold sequins and I'm pouring some in. I think I have a few too many there. And I have a little technique here. I don't know if I've shown this in the past, but what I like to do, I don't like when you have a shaker card and all of the little shaker glitter or sequins that you use all fall to the bottom and they hide at the bottom. So I want to make sure that some of those are always up at the top, even if the card is standing up straight. So my tip is to take a little liquid glass and I just go into a few random places. I usually use, an odd number of places, either the triangular rule of 3 or maybe 5 on that bigger card off to the left. But I just go ahead and try to pick up a few sequins and adhere those down in the glue. So I always have some sequins at the top, even if gravity is working against me. So it's just a little tip that I like to share with everybody. So the hardest part is figuring out what 3 sequins I want to place into the glue. There's really pretty translucent sequins, but I don't think that those are easily seen by the eye. And so I pick up 3 of the gold sequins. I should not have shook that card at that moment because the window's not over the top. So I'm just placing those little tiny sequins back in and grabbed one of our pieces of acetate. And I always feel the side that's a little stickier, that has a backing on it that you have to peel off, okay? So go ahead and free your backing there and then free the foam. And we're going to adhere that acetate piece right on top of that foam. And it sticks beautifully. Now I just put a little liquid glass around the outside of my shaker window because I'm going to cover up those raw edges with this beautiful stitched rectangular frame that we've cut out of our die. And there we go. Just line that up. And, I think this card's going to be pretty too. I wanted to just use a couple of the different sizes just to show you. Now there's also the smaller size, but I didn't go ahead and use those, but you could definitely use that and it would make a great tag as well, I think. So we're going to adhere down that bow and you can see it's all stuck together now with the liquid glass. And yeah, the clothespin helps. Hopefully it's all the way dry. Now we're going to focus on our pieces that I have cut out of the Close to My Heart Comfort and Joy digital Cricut collection. Now, there are 2 layers to these leaves, the holly leaves here, and I've already glued those together. And now I just use my dry embosser and my fingers to sort of create a shape with those leaves. The candles I've pre-glued together here. They're 2 layers, and I used the base as cut our base with the gold foil paper, and then used our white glitter paper on top to overlay. I wanted the candle flame and the halo to be golden. So that's why I use that as the bottom layer. And you'll notice in the Cricut cut that the candles are, one is down lower and one is up higher. And I think the holly leaves sort of follow that. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just placing one up higher, and I didn't really like where that one was stationed, so I just lifted up the foam tape and I'm repositioning that. Okay, so those are down. I'm going to use some liquid glass to put down our holly leaves. I'm using that liquid glass because I really need something that's going to bind to that glitter paper, the white glitter paper on the candle underneath. And it's a little bit pesky, especially because I bent the holly leaves to, to have some movement in them. So it's not a flat surface that's going on top of those candles. So you'll see that it keeps moving because it's not yet dry, and that's okay. I'm just sneaking in some of those little pine boughs, and I'm just gonna, keep moving it until I have the placement right. And you'll see things are jiggling, but I do have a plan to lock this down with some bluebell glitter gems in just a moment. So just, if you're gonna make a card like this, just fuss with it a bit. I should say that I think I cut the image, the candle image, at 4 inches wide, and whatever height then came up on the Cricut. And then I wanted those pine boughs to be just a little bit bigger, so I did stretch those just a bit. Now I've been taking some of our stickles in a gold color, and I'm just putting that over the white part of the glitter paper up at the candle as well, because I just wanted just a little more bling to those little candle flames up there. And recently I've become very, very reliant upon the stickles to just add little hints of embellishment. Here are those beautiful bluebell glitter gems that we have just started carrying. It's our color of the year. And on the card with the larger shaker, I used the larger size bluebell glitter gems. And here I'm just placing the smaller bluebell glitter gems. And because they are spanning between the cardstock, the green cardstock on the holly leaves, and the white glitter paper, it will actually help to adhere that all together as that glitter, sorry, not the glitter glue, the liquid glass dries underneath. So that is our second card. Now I'm taking this No Peeking stamp set. It's one from last year, but it's still available. I'm going to just stamp a sentiment inside using our black ink. You could use any sentiment that you have in your stash, but this is, one set that's still out there and available for sale, so I thought I would show that today. I am so thrilled with the way these cards turned out. They're modern, but that tradition, the candle gives me like this traditional feel from when I was growing up back in the 70s and 80s. That is our card set. I hope that you enjoyed watching me create these, and that maybe you've been inspired to go ahead and make some of your own. Now we are on day 18, like I said. Day 19 tomorrow of our 31 Days of Christmas Cards will be brought to you by Julie, and I will have her link down below, as well as a master playlist here on my YouTube channel for all of our 31 Days of Christmas Cards in this series. Now, I hope that you've been inspired today, that you will become a subscriber if you've not already done so. And remember to hit that notification bell down below so that this way you are notified every time I post so you don't miss a single project. Thank you for stopping by and have a very creative day.